Welcome everybody to the Tech Woke YouTube channel. My name is Chris, and on this channel we talk about cyber, career, and life. And in this video, I'm going to explain how to do a POAM. So usually with POAMs, you usually have a system to create one. For this example, since I don't have access to that, I'm going to show you how to create a POAM manually. And this POAM, anybody can do. This is going to be just the basics of how to do it. It's not going to be an advanced version. So I'm about to get started right now. So I'm about to show you I'm about to get started with it. So for the first part of the POAM is the POAM ID. Usually when you have a POAM, they have an ID. For this purposes, I'm just going to just make up one. So I'm going to use probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to have a POAM ID for this example. So for this POAM in particular, we're going to do a documentation POAM. So we're going to make up something that's going on, have something on deck. So for the system, we're going to probably just call it super system. So I'm going to name it super system needs documentation to reflect it is being annually reviewed. So in some organizations, when you're trying to test a control, the documentation has to have an updated date, updated signatures, things like that. So in this system, super system our fictitious system you're using, super system documentation has last year's date. It doesn't have this year's date. It doesn't have 24 date. So this failed control. So we got to create a POAM, because we can't fix it right now. So the whole point of a plan of action is something you can plan to fix at a later time. So this is what we're doing. So this is what we're going to put for here for right now. Okay. So this is the vulnerability description. So we're going to go to control. For this purpose, we're going to just pretend it's AC1. So this documentation is affecting the AC1 control. Okay, so for this office, I'm not sure what to put. We're going to make up a system. We're going to call this office maybe general technology. And for this is all fictitious. Okay, so resource. With resources, you put who you're going to go to get this information or update this information. Usually when you updating documentation, updating dates, reviewing it, you have to review it. You send it up to your team, to management, to sign it. So we're going to just say ISO because that's the person that's updating the information. And then you can put like PMO in case you need some information from them. So for the resources, I would put ISO PMO. Okay, so milestones, you got to think of it in steps on how you would get it fixed. Okay, so maybe for the first step, we're going to say ISO will review the documentation. So that's the first step to get this mitigated. And usually for milestones, you set dates for the milestones. So hypothetically speaking, we're going to say January 8th for this one. So January 8th, we're going to review the documentation. So the next step we'll probably do for our milestones is ISO will send up to management to review and sign. So that's the second step, and we're gonna assume we're gonna do a fictitious. Maybe it's gonna be January 9th, 2024. So the last step will be ISO will review signed documentation and close out POAM. Okay, so these are the steps I would go through to close out this POAM. So these are the milestones that ISO will set up to close out a POAM. So we're going to go to source identifying. So a source identifying is who identified this issue with your system. So I'm going to say that, I'm going to say that ISO identified this. Well, I'm just going to just put ISO. Who source identifying ISO. Okay. So for status is which status is the POAM in. So assuming this is ongoing. So right now it's ongoing. So status is ongoing. So the raw severity is what ISO would give this. I'm going to give this moderate for now. Okay, so mitigations section on the POAM is things that are in place to help out with the POAM. I mean, to help out with the system just until you're able to get documentation. So since this is hypothetically speaking, where the system we're working on is super system, the company is General Technology. For now, we can just put, since the mitigations is, since it's where the system doesn't have the documentation, but the company does. So General Technology has company documentation in place that covers the role. So we can put that in place for now. So we can put mitigation, General Technology has documentation in place that covers the control. So threat level, this is where you find out what the threat level is. This is a basic POAM just to show you how to do one. So for now, we're going to put moderate. Like hood, you're going to put moderate. Then impact, you're going to put moderate. But that's pretty much it for now. If in the future, I can do another one where it can be more advanced. It's going to be more advanced, going through everything on how to do a POAM, maybe a vulnerability, things like that. This is just to show you how to do a basic POAM and just practice on your own. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below if you have a different experience. But that's pretty much it. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you on the next video.